Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm going to be giving you part 16 of What If Naruto Learned the Clone Secret in the Beginning. Remember to get this one to 300 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also stay in tune for What If Naruto was disowned by everyone on this channel, and enjoy that guys. And I'm gonna be posting What If Naruto was a Sasuke king over an anime king, and What If Naruto was a godly mage. So stay tuned for that, and I hope you guys enjoy. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you're hearing my voice, and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode? Begin the intro. So, the last part we left off, Neji was totally outclassed by Naruto, as Naruto defeated him and he was on the ground, barely keeping in consciousness. As Naruto spoke to him and told him about what happened at the Hidden Wave, everyone went sad as he listened to his story, as Naruto proved to him that no one can be controlled by fate. They make their own fate, seeing that Haku decided to save her master no matter what. She decided to choose her own fate. As Neji looked up at Naruto, it seems like he was struck by the talking, one of those powerful speeches that changed him, before he passed out unconscious. It was then that Sarutobi and the Raikage started to clap, and everyone else started to cheer and clap for a wonderful battle, as Naruto went back up to the podium. Temari then faced off against Tenten, as Tenten was no match. She felt ashamed, as she didn't want to show her face to Naruto because she lost so badly, but Naruto simply waved that off. He will teach her how to fight better and use ninjutsu if she wants, and he would never be ashamed of her. Sasuke was supposed to fight, but the Raikage told the Hokage if a ninja like him was supposed to be late on an S-rank mission that would cause other ninjas their life, so he must be disqualified. So after a while and Sasuke did not show up, he ended up getting disqualified. But they gave him a perk that pissed Naruto off. He will fight the winner of the Chunin exams, still be able to test himself. But Naruto was angry at that, getting special treatment even if he showed up late. Yujito then went down as she faced off against Shikamaru. Shikamaru was no chance against her, as she defeated him rather quickly. As the rest of the matches went on, it then came back up to Naruto to fight, as Naruto was supposed to face off against Rock Lee. As Lee was excited, ready for a match between Naruto, as Sasuke and Kakashi showed up. As he heard about his disqualified, he was pissed, but he then heard that he will still fight the winner. A smile came to his face when he realized he will fight the strongest here, and that is exactly what he wanted. Meanwhile, Gaara was in a cage, as there were seals all over the cage. They were going to set him loose on the village once the attack was ready. Jiraiya was also out and was taking care of the ninjas that were trying to surround the village as well, as the Kazekage was there smirking the entire time, as he was soon ready for the invasion. Naruto and Rock Lee started to trade fist after fist, as Lee removed his weights, increased his speed, but Naruto started to keep up with him, as Naruto used all types of jutsus. He ended up knocking Lee violently into a wall. Lee burst out of it as he activated the gates. Going straight up, Naruto knew that Lee was getting dead serious, as he called for the Kyuubi. Two tails emerged behind him as a fox cloak overtook him. Everyone remembering what happened that night all those years ago, as they felt that same malicious chakra, as Naruto and Lee rushed forward to attack each other. So yeah guys, so it's basically that's where we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So what do you say we begin this new episode? What the hell? Kiba shouted out. What is that chakra? He said. It's the same as when he faced Gaara, Hinata said, trembling a bit at the power. I can't believe he can use that much of a chakra already, said Kakashi. As the other Jonins were silent, Sasuke clenched his teeth and fists as he watched Naruto and Lee go far beyond him in power. Sasuke was confused, a part of him, because he has come to consider Naruto as some sort of a friend, or a respected rival. But as he saw the power being oozed out of their body, he felt frustrated. Ever since he joined this team, he always felt inferior to Naruto, but at the same time Naruto was the one that helped him grow stronger. Tree climbing, trying to protect him against Orochimaru, because Naruto was always helping him, well, at least when he was not torturing him and Sakura. He did not know what to think, but he could not deny he was jealous. His skirt seal pulsed a bit, but the seal that Naruto placed on it did its job, as it completely vanished. He's even using more than before, said Yujito, as she looked at Naruto. I did not realize the boy can use that much of the Kyuubi's yokai, said Inibe. As the others are staring at Naruto right now, some of them wondering what the hell was this feeling, what kind of power was this? Back in the arena, Gate of Limit, release, Lee said, as the ground started to crack and break. As Naruto let out a growl, as chakra started to be released from the both of them violently, tearing apart the stadium, and they haven't even moved yet. As Naruto and Lee looked at each other one last time, as a single leaf from one of the many trees fall over. The moment it falls, the both of them vanish. Explosions start to go all over the arena as the fight reached a new time high. The only ones that were capable of watching the matches were the Kages, Yujito, Kakashi, Guy, Asuma, Anko, and a few other Jonins. Craters started to form in the landscape as the two started to destroy everything in their path. Their strength was fairly even as the both of them pounded into each other. But Lee, he had a limit, and soon his body will start to go down. But Naruto had the unlimited source of the Kyuubi's power pouring through him, and as long as he don't pass a certain stage where he loses his mind, he was able to control it and fight furiously in this level. Lee's body started to ache, as Naruto was still keeping up with him no matter what. As the both of them clashed furiously, as Lee's speed started to falter as well. As the both of them appear in the center and clapped at their fists, they smashed it into each other's faces. As the both of them fell over, everyone went silent, wondering who will get up back. It was then they saw Naruto, as he pulled himself to his feet. The cloak was no longer around him as he got up and looked down at Lee. Lee, you okay? He asked. Lee was barely conscious, but he could still talk. Of course, he said. Thank you for your concern. Naruto smiled. You did an excellent job, Lee. You're a splendid shinobi, he said. Thank you, Lee said, before passing out, his body coming under the strain of the 8 gates. As Naruto then dropped down on his butt. Man, that was exhausted, he said. I'm spent. Now I just want to go back home and get some sleep. Genma jumped back in the ring. Kid, you okay? He asked. He was forced to get out of there because the place got destroyed. Well, other than being sore as hell and felt like someone dropped the Hokage's monument on my chest. I'm good, Naruto said. Genma chuckled in disbelief. Winner! Uzumaki Naruto, he announced. Holy crap, Katetsu said. You can say that again, said Izumo. These kids are getting ridiculous, said Katetsu. First, they have Jonin level speed, and that kid Lee can open 5 gates. Then the Uzumaki kid used that chakra. Yeah, things are getting rather intense. I think Guy decided to make a clone of himself and hopped him up on steroids. And let's not even go into Uzumaki's performance. Who would have expected this from a pair of deadlass, Izumo said. As Naruto was lying down in the field, ignoring the cheers that were coming, as a shadow then came over his face as he blinked twice. Hey Yuji-chan, he said. Yujito looked at him in amusement. Hey, you alright? You look like shit, she said. Oh, thanks for that, Naruto said. You always say such kind words to me. And I look like shit because I feel like shit. I knew that Lee was strong. But damn, who would have thought that he'd be able to open 5 of the gates? I'm exhausted. I need some sleep. Well, you can't sleep here, she said. There's another match coming up. As she went down and helped him up as she placed one of his arms over her shoulder and wrapped one of her arms around his waist and helped him back up to the boot. As she was walking, she could feel his body. He had rather big muscles for a kid who was probably just around 13. As she decided to have some fun, she leaned over to his ear. You know, you have been putting on quite a show for me and the other girl, she said. Huh? What show, Naruto said, blushing a bit. You mean the fight? No, she said, I mean, as she let her eyes trail up and down his body. He immediately got a hint as he wasn't wearing a shirt anymore, as he blushed right red. But he has been dealing with the uncle, her, and the Kyuubi, so... Pervert, he muttered. Yujito grinned. You're one to talk, she said. As the pair got into the fighter booth, only Kankuro was still there. Shino and Temaru were already on the field, and Shikamaru decided it was too troublesome to stay. As Yujito set him over to the wall, Hey, can I ask for another favor, he asked. Sure, she said. Wake me up when it's my turn, Naruto said. Sure, she said to him. Thanks, he says. He closed his eyes. As she looked at his face, more than the whisker marks, she knew that it was a symbol of him being a Jinchuriki, much like her feline eyes. As she reached up and started to rub them, he then started to purr. As she couldn't believe it, it was just so cute. As he started to rub his face on her hand. Will Yujito please come down for her match? Yujito moved away as she looked up and realized Temaru just beat that Shino kid. As she looked at the peaceful, sleeping Naruto one more time before heading out. The match between Temaru and Yujito was fairly one-sided. Lightning was weak against wind. Yujito had a load of fire jutsus as well. And she was also faster and stronger than Temaru. So Temaru lost in the end. As the match came to an end, will Naruto Uzumaki please come down so we can start the next fight? As Yujito smirked. He's still asleep, she said. I'll go get him. As she made her way up there, Naruto-kun, wake up, she said. She gently shook his shoulder. Our fight is up, she said. As Naruto mumbled a bit, saying something about a tub of ramen. But he did not get up, so she just bumped him on the head. Ow, Naruto says. He looked around. What the? Come on, she said, a smile. It's our battle, she said. As Naruto got up and stretched. I hope you're ready for me, Yuji-chan, he said. I think the real question should be, are you ready for me, Naruto-kun, she asked. Well, I'm ready for anything you can throw at me, Nico-chan. Just let me get into a change of clothes first, he said, as he rushed out of the booth. She laughed and made her way down to the arena. Moments later, the two fighters looked at each other, as Genma was eyeing the both of them. As Naruto was in a spare set of clothes, he had on his gauntlet and his new gloves as well. So, should we set any rules for this engagement, Naruto asked as he rolled his shoulders. While he was looking forward to his fight, he was feeling pretty tired. And Yujito was well, Jinchuriki who had full control over Biju. And she was already a Jonin level ninja without the power of the Biju. And Naruto wasn't really that level yet. But it's not like he would give up without a fight. She looked thoughtful for a moment, before nodded. No Jinchuriki powers for this battle, she said. The last thing we need is to utterly destroy the stadium. Today, it will all be about skill. Very well, Naruto said as he smiled. I have actually been hoping that we will get to fight. Oh, she said a grin. Looking forward to fight someone as beautiful as me, she asked. Well, I was really hoping that this spar would give me an excuse to get rid of your clothes. As he gave her a grin as she blushed. I'm getting better at flirting, he thought to himself. I mean, with all the jutsu that will be flying around, it will be rather easy to destroy them. And you call me a perp, said Yujito as she smirked back. As she got her blush under control. Are the both of you ready, Genma asked. As the both of them nodded. Alright then. Begin! As he jumped away. Yujito shot towards Naruto as he threw several shurikens and started going through hand signs. The group of 5 shurikens multiplying to 50, but she weaved through all of them without even slowing down. She then lashed out with a claw swipe as Naruto went to block the attack. However, she grabbed his forearm and tossed him over her shoulder. But Naruto went through hand sign mid-air as he landed, as he thrust out his hands. Yujito went through hand sign as well. Fire release. Fire dragon missile, she said. As she breathed out a thick coat of fire that overtook his Winjutsu, as the thing started to get large and wild, and coming back towards him. Oh shit, Naruto said, as the flames covered him and consumed him. But when the flames disbanded, all that was there was a burned log. Yujito looked around, trying to find him, but she couldn't see him anywhere. But 2 hands break from the ground and lashed onto her leg. As the real Naruto burst on the ground, the clone still holding onto her feet, as he punched her, but she burst into lightning, sending Naruto flying back as he hit the ground a thud, as the electric current went through his body. He had to quickly roll out of the way as Yujito came smashing down on the spot where he was standing, as he flip and flip until he landed gently, looking at her. He then pulled out a scroll as he unsealed, as a torrent of water came out of it. As he went through hand signs, water release, water dragon claw, as a dragon formed out of the water and roared as it threw a claw hand at Yujito. But as it hit, she phased out of existence. It was an after image, as she appeared right next to Naruto and smashed 2 fists into his ribs. Naruto grunted as he got the wind knocked out of him, but he blocked her next attack. As the both of them engaged each other in a taijutsu battle that was fast and furious. As Naruto was getting hit more often than not, her strikes were insanely fast, as she kicked him right in the face as he was sent stumbling back. As he went through Hansen and slammed his stomach, a ball of compressed air was shot towards her, but she bent herself so the ball of air passed right by her. As she got back up, he kicked her right in the chest, but she grabbed his foot before he could pull it back. As she grinned and spun him around, she then thrust him to the ground for him to land on his back, but he poofed away right in front of her eyes. What the? Several Naruto then burst on the ground intending to engage her in taijutsu, but she moved through the attacks with her claws as she lashed out and sliced right through them, dispelling them. But that was all the time the real Naruto needed as he appeared right next to her. Wind style, as he fired off a wind fist that smashed right into her. She was sent sailing as she crashed right into the wall. She ripped herself out of it. You know, you're incredibly strong for someone so young, she said. I don't even think I was that strong at your age. Thanks, Yuji-chan, Naruto said a grin. That means a lot hearing you say that. It also means I can stop holding back, she said, as the look on her face turned rather feral, as she came at him like a bullet, attacking him furiously over and over. He tried to block, but she was just incredibly more faster than before, as every time he would get a hit, and he comes stronger and stronger, she smashed her foot into his face as she spun around and kicked him away. She then dived straight towards him, but he exploded, sending her flying straight up in the air, as the real Naruto appeared behind her, but she twisted around and smashed her foot into his stomach and knocked him straight down to the ground. She went through hand sign, lightning release, false darkness, as she fired out a bolt of lightning from her mouth. Naruto replaced himself with a log, but to his surprise, the lightning started to chase after him, as the thing started to come after him same way as he started to run. As Naruto grit his teeth as the thing caught him on the arm a bit. Damn it, I need to stop this thing. As he looked over to see Yujito holding a hand sign. Of course, she's controlling it with hand signs, Naruto said. As Naruto channeled yokai into his mouth, Kitsune by, as he fired out a ball of blue flames. The thing went right towards Yujito, as he had to quickly jump away. As Naruto flipped over the thing as the thing smashed in the wall and burst into electricity all over. As Naruto created a clone and both of them started to go through hand signs, wind release, severing ear pressure. The clone also fired off a large fireball from his mouth as Naruto shot the wind style into it, creating a massive hailstorm of pure fire and wind as it crashed where Yujito was. What the hell was that? Ino said. That's called a combination jutsu, said Asuma, not taking his eyes off the fight when two jutsus or more combined to make a more powerful attack. As the others gaped, Sasuke looked at Naruto in jealousy. Meanwhile, Naruto was breathing heavily as he looked around. He saw Yujito with a slight cinch on her clothes. She didn't completely get away from the attack. But Naruto was drained, fighting two opponents, launching out all those type of jutsus. It had left him drained, as he collapsed on one knee. I think we both know I cannot continue this fight. I forfeit, Naruto said. That's a wise choice, she said. Well, considering that you already fought two dangerous enemies, and you're still on your feet, it's quite surprising. Yeah, said Naruto, that's what happened when you're as awesome as me. As she chuckled and shook her head. Winner, Yujito, said Genma. As the crowd didn't start to cheer, but the others who lost money on bets started to boo. Oh man, I can't believe he lost, said Kiba. He was on fire. It was obvious he was exhausted from his previous battle, said Hinata. That Kunoichi didn't have to fight tough opponents. I guess that's true, said Kiba. Do you think he would have won if he was at full strength? I don't know, she said. That was definitely an interesting battle, Izumo said as he clapped. There was some definitely interesting fighters this year. Yeah, that Lee kid. Tamaru was decent, Yujito, Neche, and Naruto. Though, out of the five of them, I think only Yujito, Tamaru, and Naruto should be given the position of Chunin. Agreed, the others showed Chunin and even Jonin level skills, but they didn't show the proper ability to use them. Aw, Naruto lost in no wine. After his other two fights, I was so sure that he would win. Well, while he's obviously gotten stronger, he was completely exhausted by previous battles, said Kurenai. Do you think he would have won if he wasn't so tired, asked Tenten. I don't think so, said Kakashi, as the others looked at him. That girl there, she's obviously far above Genin level. And while the same can be said for Naruto, I can at least say that girl is around the same strength as me. The other Jonin nodded their heads, as they knew it was true. Still, it was a really good battle, Choji says, he munched on his chips. I have to agree, said Asuma. He's come a far long way since the academy. Meanwhile, don't think it will be so easy next time we spar. When we meet again, you will see who is stronger. You will never be able to catch up to me, she said in a joking tone. Well, if I can't, I guess I don't really have a problem, he said. At least it will be a hot woman that is kicking my ass. Well, I'm glad to know what gets you off, she said. Just for that, Naruto said, I'm gonna show you what I'd rather do to that ass instead of kicking it. This time Yujito blushed, hearing that, making Naruto smile. I guess that pervert Jiraiya was good for something else than kicking my ass. Are you two done with your verbal sparring? Asked Genma. The both of them turned, realizing the proctor was there. Oh, sorry, they said. Genma sighed before speaking up. And now for the special treat battle, Uchiha Sasuke will face off against Yujito. As soon as the announcement was made, as Sasuke appeared in the arena with an arrogant smirk on his face. Despite having seen Naruto battle, he was looking forward to this fight, especially seeing how powerful this woman is. She will be perfect to test my strength against. She will be the next stepping stone on his path to kill his brother, after all. As Naruto turned towards Yujito, I'm not gonna wish you luck because you won't need it for him. But I would like to ask you, open up a whole can of whoop ass on the team. I thought he was your teammate, Naruto-kun, Yujito said. Oh, he is, but he can get really full of himself sometime. Not sometime, he is always arrogant. And there is nothing that can bring him back down to earth like a good old ass kicking. Well, in that case, she said, as Naruto then vanished in a Shanshin, as he appeared next to his sensei. Yo, Kaka-sensei, he said. As Kakashi turned, yo Naruto, nice job on your battles. You really come pretty far, and I also see that you were able to learn quite a few of those jutsu I gave you. Yeah, I learned 4 of them, said Naruto, considering that I only had a month and Erosenin was a slave driver with my taijutsu. Erosenin, said Kakashi, as he blinked, as he wondered who that was. Naruto turned his head and saw Tenten. He gave her a smile. Hey Tenchan, I'm glad to see you up and about. How are you feeling? Oh, I'm doing good, she said. Thanks to you. I saw your battle with Yujito-san. You did good, she said. You think so, Naruto said, rubbing the back of his head. Well, she's a tough opponent. To be honest, I think she's the strongest person in this exam. From what I can tell, you're right, said Kakashi. I believe that she's around my level. So for you to battle her that long, it's quite impressive. Thanks, Kaka-sensei, said Naruto. Kakashi sighed as a new nickname that he was given. Great, now he's giving me a nickname, like Kushina. At least it sounded a tad bit better than Kashikon. Meanwhile, Genma raised his hand. Begin! As he sunched away. Sasuke activated Sharingan with 3 Tomo in each eye. As he was easily able to track her speed as she flew towards him. She lashed out with a kick, but he blocked it with his hand. But she pushed herself off his hand and lashed out a heel kick, which he dodged as she flipped back and threw shurikens. As she released lightnings out of the shurikens, he was able to dodge, having seen her on Temaru's battle. As she then speed towards him, Sasuke raised his hand in defense, but she slid under his guard. Sasuke was surprised, but he looked down. She was fast. She then reared her hand back and sliced right at his face. Sasuke jumped back as he held his face and winced in pain as her claws cut him. He speed through handstand and fired off a large fireball out of his mouth. She jumped straight in the air and fired several kunais at him, dodging the fireball. He brought out his own kunai and blocked all of them. As she appeared right behind her kunai, he tried to block, but she twisted her body as she smashed her fist into his face. As she then jumped and spin kicked him right in the face. There was a breaking sound. Luck of the people who placed bets on Sasuke to win. As they watched as Sasuke's nose started to bleed badly, it was broken. As Sasuke sent a deadly glare her way. Hoping to egg him on a bit, she raised her hand, gesturing for him to come. He then dashed forward again, but he was no match for her as she started to beat the crap out of him. She was superior in every way: speed, strength, reflex, and agility. And not to mention she had a lot more experience. Sasuke's Sharingan was able to follow her movement, but she was just too fast for him to do anything about it. He finally jumped away on top of the wall before going through handstand. Shidori, he said, as lightning started to crackle on his hand, tearing in the wall. Kakashi, you didn't teach him that, did you? Said Guy. I thought you would know better than to teach him that. A genin, said the man that teaches genin how to open 5 gates. I promised him, if he had exceeded my expectations, I would teach him a powerful jutsu. Sasuke ran down the wall, the lightning in his hand, ripping through the concrete like paper. Yuji stood there, completely still. Is this kid serious? Using an assassination technique like that, even though I'm far faster than him. That jutsu rely on being faster than your opponent, something that this kid was definitely not. As she waited for him to come closer, as he thrust his hand out intending to pierce it through her chest, she switched herself with a lightning clone that exploded outwards. As Sasuke was electrocuted badly before his body was sent sailing, as he hit the ground hard with that thud. Lightning sparkled off of him for a bit, before he fell unconscious. As Genma walked over, "Winner, Yujito," he said. Well, that was a totally obvious outcome, Naruto said. Hopefully I could get some sleep now. Before anyone could say anything, feathers started to fall down on the arena. At the same time, a large explosion went off in the Hokage's boot as two figures shot out. The people started to fall asleep, jumping from their chairs one by one, all except for the disguised Son and Sand Ninja, as they were all getting up to attack the Konoha ninjas. Kakashi, Guy, Asuma, Kurenai, and several other ninjas started battling out with the ninjas, as Naruto and the others break the genjutsu. Ino, Choji, and Kiba were all asleep from the effect. As Naruto noticed one of the Stone Ninjas coming, he raised his gauntlet and fired off a kunai that tear right into the man's throat, as he dropped down and died. What the hell? Why are we under attack? Naruto asked. He did not get an answer, but he knew better than to expect one. As several Stone Ninja appeared, he summoned his bow staff and started to smack the hell out of them. As he started to smack them away from his unconscious comrades. "Sakura, Hinata," he yelled. "I need you to inject the Genins who are still out of it with your chakra. We can't afford to have them asleep for this. Tenten, I need you to help me protect them." As Hinata and Sakura went over and started to inject their chakra into the others, waking them up. As Tenten and Naruto started to protect them. Since what happened in the wave, Naruto hasn't killed, but he had spoken to the others and they told him killing was a part of a ninja life, and he would do anything to protect his friends. As one of the Sound Ninjas got too close to Sakura, she turned, but then a sickening cracking sound could be heard as Naruto's bow staff smashed into the man's neck, as his head was slumped back as he collapsed dead. As Tenten was launching kunais after ninjas who was too far away to strike. Each one she threw was a headshot. She was that accurate with her weapons. As the others wake up, Naruto spoke. "Hook up with your Jonin sensei and get the orders from them." They did not question him, but they just nodded and took off. "Sakura, follow me. We're going to Kakashi sensei and get our orders." "But what about Sasuke?" she asked. "He was probably still unconscious in the arena." "Sasuke is with Yujito. She will protect him right now," Naruto said. "We need to get to Kakashi." As he struck another female Stone Ninja, nearly splitting her in half. As Sakura followed behind Naruto. "Oh great," Yujito said. As she found herself surrounded by several Stone and Sand Ninjas. "I so don't need this." As she looked down, "And now I have to babysit as well." "Just hand over the Uchiha and we will make you walk away," one of the Stone Ninjas ordered. "Well, while I would personally like to give the arrogant brat to you, he is kind of a teammate of a person I've taken a liking to, so no." The ninjas then charged at her, but they were no match, as she quickly subdued them all. "You know, compared to my battle with Naruto-kun, you guys are boring," she said, as more of them dropped and started charging at her. Meanwhile, deep in the forest, Orochimaru was smart, knowing that if the Konoha ninjas managed to find out the summoning rays at the front, they wouldn't find these ones, as there was many others deep in the forest, as there was massive poofs that went off, and snakes started to flood into the village, breaking the wall, as they started to wreak havoc in the village. But Jiraiya was rushing towards them. Meanwhile, Kakashi Sensei Naruto said, "What are our orders?" Naruto asked. "I want you two to hook up with the other Genin group and start defending the village while we fight here." "But Sensei, what about Sasuke?" asked Sakura. She hid behind Naruto. "Don't worry about him," said a voice, as they turned to see Yujito with the still unconscious Sasuke over her shoulder. "He'll be fine in a couple of hours," she said. "Unfortunately, he won't be able to move after a while, even when he regained consciousness," she said. As Kakashi nodded as he threw a kunai into a ninja's neck. "In that case, I want you to be taken to the hospital where Hayashi is guarding the injured." As the other Genins were helping their Jonin senseis fight. "You guys mind if I borrow a Genin?" Kakashi asked as he ducked under a fist, as he grabbed a kunai and implanted it right into the Sound Jonin's throat. "Sure, I think we've got things here," said Asuma. As the others voiced their agreements and Kakashi turned back to his team. "Sakura, I want you to take Sasuke and go with Kiba, Shino, and Hinata to the hospital. Protect the ninjas there." Sakura nodded and went over to Kurenai and her squad, while Naruto created two clones to take Sasuke from Yujito. "Naruto, I want you to go with Tenten and Squad 10. Help evacuate the civilians who was not left for the shelters." "Got it," Naruto said as he took off towards Team 10. He then looked towards Yujito, I can't order you to do anything, he said. But if you would help out, it would be much appreciated. Don't worry, she said, since this is Naruto-kun's home, and my Kage is currently here, I will lend you a hand. Kakashi raised the eyebrow and she called him Naruto-kun, but he filed it away for later, as he got back to work. Meanwhile, Sarutobi was looking around, there was a kunai at his neck, as it was Orochimaru in his disguise as a Kazekage. The envoys had tried to come in, but they got instantly fried to a crisp, so no one can touch his barrier. Well, outside. I see that you went through a careful plan to get me, Orochimaru, said Sarutobi, as he pushed the kunai away and spun around and went for a kick. But Orochimaru jumped back and spun around. Very good, sensei. I wonder, how did you know it was me? As he ripped off the disguise, showing his face. I have known about your plan for some time now, my foolish former student. I'm curious though. You have never been the type to attack for just vengeance. You always wanted something. So why attack Konoha now? What do you hope to accomplish with this? Orochimaru chuckled. Well, I don't know if I have any grand goal. I wish to accomplish with this. Well, I suppose you can say I enjoy watching things in motion. Life gets dull when you're just standing and watching them. The crumbling of the Leaf Village will provide excellent entertainment. As Sarutobi pulled off his robe, he was already decked out in his battle armor. It seems you never change, do you, Orochimaru? Meanwhile, the group separated, as they all went off with dozens of Naruto clones to help them evacuate the civilians, as Naruto had the idea to head to the academy. For the best way to reassure that your enemy won't fight in the future is to take care of the younger ninjas, and Naruto would not let that happen. Meanwhile, Aruka along with several other chonins had barricaded the academy entrance to protect the students in there. The evacuation order had came to them too late. Orochimaru had already foreseen that the academy might be evacuated before the invasion took place, so he gave the order to destroy the academy the moment they tried to leave. The moment Aruka and the others tried to evacuate, they were ambushed by several dozen sound ninjas. Many of his chonins already died trying to protect the students as they made their way back, and many more students had died because there was not enough chonin to protect them all. How are things looking? Aruka asked. He looked towards one of his comrades. Not too good. We only got a dozen of us, and 6 are too injured to fight. We lost nearly 50 students in that surprise attack. Nearly 100 are injured, and there is no way for us to get to the shelters. Damn, Aruka said. They expected the evacuation. Almost as soon as it began, they began to storm us. Things are starting to look hopeless, the other agreed. Konohamaru and the others were also there as they were afraid when they heard what is going on. Konohamaru then turned and peeped through the window, as a lot of chaos could be heard outside, clashing. It's boss, Konohamaru shouted. Naruto has come to save us all, he said, as they looked through the window and saw 100 copies of Naruto as he was tearing through the force, ripping through all of them coming up to the academy. Meanwhile, the real Naruto was on the roof. He already sent hundreds of clones along with Team 10. And now, these other clones. He had to eat a chakra pill. He had never eaten one before, seeing that he was always healed by the Kyuubi, and he always have so many reserves. But he was tired from all the fighting that he has been doing. As he swallowed the pill, he felt the Kyuubi do his job, as it restores yokai, but it was nowhere near full. As he made his way towards the academy entrance, Naruto! Boss! The door opened as Aruka, Moge, and Udon, and Konohamaru came to the door with the many chunin instructors and children behind them. I'm glad to see you guys alright, Naruto said, smiling in relief. Did Hokage send you? Aruka asked. No, Kakashi-sensei ordered us to help with the evacuation, but my instincts were just screaming for me to come here. The only thing I did listened to them. As he looked at Aruka, are there any injured? Yes, half of our chunin instructors and about 100 students, Aruka said. Can they walk or do they need assistance? Naruto asked. Most of them can walk, but several of them will need help, Aruka said. As Naruto formed his cross hand signs and summoned more clones. What about you? Aruka asked. There's an enemy that has been dispelling my clones for some time now. I wasn't able to touch this one with them. I have to deal with him personally. Are you sure that is wise? Aruka asked, as he was very concerned. Maybe not, but if I don't deal with him, he will attack more villagers and kill them. Well, good luck, Aruka said, as Naruto ran and jumped over the fence as he went off. Meanwhile, Shikamaru caught another shinobi in his shadow, as the Naruto clone came over and sliced his neck. They have been fighting for some time now. He will catch the shinobis, and the clone kill them. Ino was hidden behind the walls using her mind due to the cause many commotion amongst the enemy, as there was many clones around her protecting her. Man, this is so troublesome, said Shikamaru as he catch 3 more enemies, as 3 Naruto clones came and slit their throats. Meanwhile, Tenten was weaving through the air by herself, as she had her scrolls extended to the length. Many weapons came out and started to impale the ninjas down below. Meanwhile, within a sector of Konoha that looked nearly abandoned, A cage opened as Gaara stepped out. The left side of his face was covered in sand that held the form of Tanuki, as the shuriken was in his eye, and jewel was coming out of his mouth and his fangs could be shown on the other side. As the sand covered his arm as well, it looked like a giant claw with 3 fingers. "Uzumaki, where are you?" Gaara shouted. "It's time for you to prove my existence," he screamed. Meanwhile, the envoys were shocked as hell as they saw the first and the second Hokage came out of those coffins. At first, Sarutobi stood a chance of winning, but now he was wise and crafty in war, and he has taken down opponents far stronger than Orochimaru. Now he was facing 2 of the strongest shinobis Konoha had ever produced. The envoys were no longer sure if their leader could win. 2 Hokages and 1 Sannin against him alone. Orochimaru placed 2 kunais in the back of the first and second Hokage's heads. "Now, let's watch the leaf burn," said Orochimaru. "It seems no matter how much the time changed, it will always be war," said the first Hokage. "Using the dead as tools, you have lowered yourself even more far than I can even comprehend, Orochimaru. Say what you want, but the times have changed and I've waited too long for this village to burn down to the ground. But don't worry, Sensei, I'll give you the privilege to watch your village burn before erasing your life. That will not be happening today, my foolish student." Sarutobi pulled 2 scrolls from his pouch as he threw them up in the air and went through hand signs. It was reverse summoning. "Summoning jutsu," said Sarutobi as he was too poof. "Orochimaru, I would like to properly introduce you to A. the Raikage of Kumo and his brother, Killer B. Yo, I float like a butterfly and sting like a bee because I am Killer B, the 8-tailed Jinchuriki." As everyone sweat dropped at man's rapping. "Well, now that B has got that out of his system, why don't we start this battle?" "I couldn't agree more," said Orochimaru. It didn't matter if Sarutobi had help, he would make sure the leaf burned. "But I'm curious though, you are not allied with Konoha. Why side with them in this fight? You would greatly benefit from the village destruction." "That is only a possibility, and their destruction do not guarantee my village more missions. In any case, when I heard that I will get rid of a certain snake, one who has caused quite an uproar in my village, when he used his right-hand man to kidnap several children from Kumo Keke Genkai, I was more than happy to help." I see that you'll be upset with that still. But it doesn't matter in the end," Orochimaru said. "Hokage, I will take on the first Hokage, since it seems like you want to battle your student." "Thank you," said Sarutobi. "I'm going to finish what I started many years ago." Yo, the Shode is the man in red. Or am I getting mixed up with the 2 are dead?" said B. "No, you are correct," said Sarutobi, ignoring B's rapid. "Oh, so I guess I get to fight the one in the blue. Looks like you'll be fun to fight too." Killer B and A then vanished as they appeared in front of the 2 Hokages. "Lariat," they said as they knocked them away, as they jumped off to start their battle. "I'm curious, Orochimaru, what do you gain by attacking Konoha after all this time?" asked Sarutobi, hoping to get more information out of Orochimaru. "Well, I suppose I could tell you. The reason I postponed this village destruction is quite simple. I wanted something that will help me accomplish my ambitions of learning every jutsu in the world. What I want are the eyes that can turn the great Kyuubi into an obedient pet. The eyes that can allow me to copy jutsus by simply glancing. The eyes that can break opponents by simply looking at them. Black flames that will burn everything they touch." "So you want Uchiha Sasuke then?" Sarutobi said, as Naruto already mentioned this. "Yes, the boy with the Sharingan will be a great asset to me as my next host." "Next host," said Sarutobi as he felt a bad feeling. Orochimaru reached up as he chuckled. He peeled away the flesh of his skin to show us underneath. "What is this?" Sarutobi said in disgust. "Who are you?" he asked, as Orochimaru now laughed in a feminine voice. "Why, don't you recognize me, Sensei?" the woman asked. "It's me, Orochimaru." "To have fallen so low. You're not even a human anymore, Orochimaru," said Sarutobi, as he went through hand signs, summoning jutsu. When the smoke cleared, his monkey summon stood tall. Enma. I see. That your regrets in the past have come to bite you back in the ass, old man," said Enma. "That is why I summoned you here, Enma. The time I finished that mistake I did in the past." "Very well," said Enma, as he formed a hand sign, and there was a poof, as he turned into a black staff, as Sarutobi grabbed it. Orochimaru smirked as he opened his mouth wide, regurgitating the blade of the Kusanagi. "Well, shall we then, Sensei?" Orochimaru said, as he rushed forward to engage your battle. Explosions started to happen everywhere, as lightning sparks could be heard, swords could be seen thrown, as A and B were facing off against the first and second Hokage. But no matter what they did and how powerful they hit them, the two Hokages just kept on coming back over and over again. Outside of the shield, the envoys who were taking the battle in all gasped. Another demon? Here? As Killer Bee was transforming. What was the Hokage thinking? Letting a monster like that into our village, and even fighting alongside him, a tiger mass envoy yelled. "Shut up, both of you," their commander said. "Do not question Hokage's orders. It is obvious this man's an ally, otherwise he and the Raikage would not risk fighting with him. They can just be doing this to gain our trust," the Weasel envoy said. "I doubt it. Had they wanted to, they could have used the confusion and chaos around here to gain Byakugan, or whatever bloodline they wanted. Neither of them had to fight this battle or help the Hokage, and had they not, I am sure the Hokage would have lost this battle in the end, facing off against Orochimaru and two former Hokages." The other two went silent after that, realizing what he said was the truth. Meanwhile, A growled in frustration as he watched Hoshirama get back up, his face and his chest healing back up once again. This fight has been going on far longer than the Raikage hoped it would. No matter what he tried, no matter how many damage he did, the man just kept on coming back up for more and more. With the information he managed to get on Orochimaru, he expected to see strange and bizarre jutsus, but this was just the weirdest. And the most goddamn frustrating thing he has ever done. "Why the hell won't you stay down?" A said, shouting in fury as he activated his lightning armor. He pounded his fist straight into Hoshirama's face, sending a burst of lightning right through him. Not that it affected the dead man. He finished the attack by sending a powerful double fist right into First Hokage's chest that sent him sailing. As the lightning around his body started to fizzle away, they've been going at this for about 2 hours now, clashing, and yet still nothing. As he watched the Hokage got back up. No matter what they did, they just still keep getting back up. He was having some fun at first. It's been a long time since he can go against the opponent all out, but now this was just getting ridiculous. Hoshirama then dashed forward, but the third Hokage suddenly jumped in front of him and grabbed onto his shoulders. Much to the surprise of the Raikage, the first Hokage stopped, an emotion flickering into his eyes. "Since the battle started, I am sorry, old friend," Sarutobi apologized. "Do not be, young Saru," said Hoshirama. "I am pleased to see that you're willing to go that far to protect our home." With those parting words, the first Hokage collapsed into ash and a body after a sound ninja fell out. "What the hell?" the Raikage said. "I spent 2 hours beating him to a pulp, and you just grabbed him by the shoulders?" Sarutobi turned around and smiled at the man. It was then that Ace saw the complex seal on the man's stomach. "Thank you for your help, Raikage Dono." As the Hokage poofed away, showing that he was a clone, Ace sighed. "Well, at least now I'm done fighting. I'm almost looking forward to get back to paperwork." Killer Bee was witnessing the same thing, as the Hokage suddenly jumped in front of the second Hokage, and he crumbled away into ash. "Oi, what just happened? How did you beat that fool when I was unable to?" Bee asked. "I beat him with the only way I could think of," said Sarutobi as he turned around. Killer Bee noticed a seal on the man's stomach, much like his seal contained his Bichu, but only more complex. "I see, not quite how I expect him to get beat, but it's good, I get to turn off the heat." As the yokai around him disappeared, the cloak, as Sarutobi smirked before disappearing in a poof of smoke. Killer Bee kneeled down and closed keen eyes as she was used to the reanimation jutsu, as this was just disgusting for Orochimaru to use his own man to further his goals. This was one of the few times he did not feel any desire to bust out in rhyme. Meanwhile, Naruto was running down the streets of Konoha, keeping outside for the most part. The only time he revealed himself when he either had to save one of the villagers or fend off some of the Genins from getting killed by the enemy shinobis. As he turned a corner, he heard a voice cried out, "Dance of the Chameleon," as Naruto had to dodge a strange, oddly white weapon. As he jumped away after the man stopped his attacks. "Your ability to dodge my attacks are most impressive. I can see now why Orochimaru-sama wants you." As Naruto blinked at the teenager who looked a few years older than him, he was pale white, with white hair, and 2 red dots on his forehead. "Yeah, well, you can tell Orochimaru that he's not my type," Naruto said, not liking how wrong this guy's words sounded. "Personally, I have no desire to get taken by some pedophile, or anyone else really." Kimimaro ignored that as he continued his assault. "I will drag you back with me to Orochimaru-sama, whether you like it or not." As Naruto unseated a katana, judging from the way the guy hold that thing, looks like he's a master swordsman or something. "I doubt I could beat Tenten right now, with how tired I am." I already took one of those pills. My clones are still out. As he sighed, you know, Nerd says he slipped into a stance. It's common for two warriors to give their name before a battle. The name is Naruto Uzumaki. You better remember it because I'm gonna be the one to kick your ass all over here. My name is Kaguya Kimimaro. And with that, Kimimaro dashed off and started to attack Naruto with fluent strikes, as Naruto to keep fast movements of bloodless strikes, as Naruto backpedal and divert the blade from himself, as Naruto then came in and swing at Kimimaro, but Kimimaro blocked it, as Naruto slid under an incoming swing from Kimimara's bone sword, as he slashed at Kimimara's legs hoping to take them out, but Kimimaro jumped right over his attack and came down with a powerful blow, but Naruto rolled out of the way and pushed himself up and blocked Kimimara's strike that came his way. As Naruto started to strike at him even more. What the hell are those bones? Naruto actually jumped back, as the things were hard to cut into. His blade didn't even chip them. This is my bloodline. Dead, bone pulse, said Kimimaro. It allowed me to use my bones as weapons and change their density. So, that's how his bones were able to withstand my wind chakra, Naruto thought, as he applied wind chakra to his blades, and yet still, his blades could not cut through them. He upgraded density. He was able to change it that much for it be too hard to wind to cut through. Damn it, those shits are hard, Naruto said. But it doesn't matter, said Kimimaro, because this battle will be ending soon. Multi should have cloned Jutsu, Naruto said, as he summoned a dozen clones, as they all rushed towards Kimimaro and started to attack him. But with quick, precise movements, Kimimaro sliced right through all of them. Kimimaro rushed forward as Naruto was about to attack again, but a yellow, black, and purple blur shot out to the street and smashed Kimimaro away, as Kimimaro crashed into a building several feet away. As the blur stopped and Naruto saw who it was. Yuji-chan, Naruto said, I thought you'd have still been back at the stadium. Well, I figured Hayate and the other Jonins could handle Ninja there, and I decided to check where I can be more helpful. She put her hands on her hips. You know, it was pretty damn difficult to find you. I got out of the stadium, and what I found was 300 Naruto running amoks all over the place. And then I found the real you, only to see that you got yourself in a fight with someone else. Really, what am I gonna do with you, she asked. Well, you can't blame this on me, Naruto said. And by the way, we're at war. And I wouldn't be doing my job if I wasn't knee deep in this kind of crap. Well, when you put it that, she was cut off as she was forced to dodge several projectiles as she jumped away. Why don't you head out, she said, as she looked back over at Naruto. It seems like you have a previous engagement. So you heard the screaming, huh? As she nodded. Alright then, thanks. I'll find some way to thank you afterwards, he said. Oh, I could think of plenty of ways for you to thank me, Naruto-kun, she said, as she watched him leave. As she saw the man that Naruto was fighting stepping out of the wall. Do not think that he will stop me from Orochimaru-sama's wish, said Kimimaro. I will take that boy to Orochimaru-sama. I'm sorry, but neither you or your snake of a master will be laying a hand on that boy. Then I'll have to kill you, he said. I'm sorry, but there's no way I'm going to allow you to kill me, she said, as she dashed forward as well. Meanwhile, Gaara crushed several of Naruto clones. Uzumaki, he screamed. Where are you, he said. Come and fight me now, he screamed on top of his lungs. Gaara jumped up on top of the roof, but the moment he did, a fist smashed into his face. He was sent sailing as he smashed down to the ground. He picked himself up from the small crater that his body created. But then a wicked, evil smile came on his face when he saw who hit him. I see that you finally come. Uzumaki, he said. You're the only one through everyone here that can prove my existence. Gaara shot off the ground, coming at Naruto with his claw. But Naruto ducked under the attack as he went towards his advance signs. As Naruto slashed at Gaara's torso, a blade of wind hit Gaara point blank. But Naruto was surprised to see that it did not penetrate the sand. What the hell? That should have sliced right through him. As there was only one possible way, the sand was infused with the Ichibai, yokai. As Naruto had to substitute as a claw crashed down, destroying where he was. As Gaara smiled, a very wicked smile, Naruto went through hand sign and fired off a fireball that hit right into Gaara. He has been using up so many yokai today. Even he has his limits, as he felt rather tired. Yes, this feeling, Gaara said in the smoke. This pain, I knew you were the one. Of course you were the one to prove my existence. Keep it up, Uzumaki, Gaara said. Let's keep going, as he burst out of the smoke and charged at Naruto. But guys, the end steps are right here. If what's the next part of this, you know what to do. And also stay in tune for the rest of the what ifs coming your way. What if Naruto's disowned by everyone? What if Naruto's a godly mage? And also, what if Naruto's Otsutsuki King? So stay tuned for those, and I hope you guys enjoy. But for now, I'm out of here. See you guys later. Peace.